And I had Facebook up before YouTube. Look at that. All right, so I think the cameras look all right, yeah? Maybe. That one looks fine. Oh boy. And then here's the puppy. All right. And that be. Alright. So we're getting close. It looks different to me, but I guess it's just been a minute. Ooh, and it's super echoey. Yeah, I have to do something about that. So, wait just another little minute. Hello. So it's shaping up to be a really pretty day out there, and I'm excited to not work. Not work this weekend. So much anyway. All right. Another minute or so. But I'll go ahead and get chatting so all that is over. By the time we're ready. So the last 3 weeks we've been doing this. This lovely floor now. And coincidentally, just yesterday, I think it was, and I think it was in an email or something I get, they were talking about being aware of the challenges of practicing on carpeting. And I just thought that was very, very comical because I did that for a year and all of a sudden I don't have it. And now I'm getting this, warning. And it was someone trying to sell a product, which good for you. But it's true. But I think the principles that we talk about with our alignment, as long as you're aware of that, it doesn't necessarily matter as much. Now, if you have some issues, that might be a different situation for you. Like they talked about, like your wrists. If you tend to have sore or tired wrists, carpeting can make it worse because it's too smushy, right? But if you're concentrating on the four corners of your hands, hopefully that doesn't affect you as much to begin with. Now, again, if you have an issue already, then that may be a bigger problem. So ideally, your surface to practice on is firm, right? So not your bed. See all these ads for exercising on your bed. It's like, come on now. You don't have to go to the gym every day, but maybe get out of bed. Anyhow, so the more firm your surface is, the easier it is to practice, but that doesn't mean that as long as you're aware of what's happening, that it's not fine to be on carpet, right? If you have to. So that's my little weird moment. Today, we're just going to do a little bit of everything. We're going to work into the core a little bit, talk about our alignment and building strength. I know everyone thinks yoga is just about stretching, but it's not just about stretching. So that's where we're at. Remember to listen to your body and make modifications. And if you're not sure in any particular pose, just jot down a note and ask me after, or you can put it up here during, but I'm not great at watching comments so much. But I'm happy to help you modify something if you're struggling with that. Take a break when you need to take a break. Make something more challenging if that's where you are at that moment, right? So as long as you're listening to your body and doing what's right for you, that is your practice, right? So let's go ahead and head over onto the mat, and I've babbled long enough. So we're starting seated. And we want to align our heels to the groin as much as possible here. Relax into the hips. Make sure you feel upright on your pelvis. So this is a little awkward sometimes. Just kind of trying to find that center. And if sitting on a block or a bolster or something is better for you, then for sure, right? But the idea is to have the pelvis upright. So lift the pelvic floor, pull your lower belly in and up, and sit tall through your sides. Try to relax through your upper belly because we need that to breathe. Relax your shoulders. Like I said earlier, try and relax into your hips. If it helps to hang on for dear life, hang on. Go ahead and close your eyes and imagine taking the bottom tips of the ears back just enough to bring your head over your shoulders or in line with your shoulders. And then just take a moment and see how you feel. What's going on in your body? Is this good? Do you need an adjustment? Is your mind going a mile a minute? And then notice your breathing. And a lot of times those two things go together. Many times those two things go together. So see if you can gently begin to deepen the breath. We breathe through the nose. And as much as you think about your inhales, think about your exhales. So yes, your inhales get bigger, but then your exhales get a little bit more complete. And just for a moment this morning, go ahead and work to the extreme. So get really, really, really full, and then get really, really, really empty. One more great big breath. And then find something in the middle. So not the breath that we first noticed, but not the great big breath. Something in between. And we want to maintain that breath as we practice. So regardless of whether we're flowing or whether we're holding something, we want the breath to do exactly what it's doing here. We're going to begin to add movement then. Extend the arms out to the sides. And with the inhale, stretch them up. On the exhale, bring them down. Do that again. And then one more time. Let's go back to the top. Inhale. Exhale, just your right hand back to the mat and give yourself a little tip over to the right. Keep the pelvis rooted, the spine long. Take a big breath. And then with the next inhale, make your way back up to the top and switch over to the left. Inhaling back to center. Let's go over to the right again. Take a deeper stretch. Maybe bend your elbow a little more. Reach further away. Draw the left shoulder back. Maybe. And then come on back to center. And take that same idea over to the left. Coming back to the middle. Exhale the arms. Bringing the hands to the knees. Inhale here, pull your shoulders together on your back. Lift your chest toward the ceiling. And then exhaling round. Think forehead to belly button. And then flow between those two poses. Inhaling as you lift. Exhaling as you round. Take a few more flows like that. Once more in either direction. And then let's go ahead and find the middle. So sitting up nice and tall here, bring the right hand to the left knee and the left hand behind the back. Rotating around to the left here. Try and relax your shoulders. Maybe look over the left shoulder if you like. Big full breaths. Releasing that back through the center and over to your second side. Let's come on back through the middle. Take that first side again. Supporting back there with your left arm, sit a little extra tall. And then pulling with the hand against the knee here, imagine rotating your belly button to the left. And then your side ribs, and then your shoulder, or maybe looking over your shoulder. So getting a little bit deeper into that twist. Keeping the breath nice and full. And then releasing that as we come back through the center and over to the second side. So that same idea, a little bit deeper, a little bit more even through the spine. And then releasing back to center again. Let's come around onto all fours. So from hands and knees, go ahead and take your hands about handprints ahead or your knees back, however, and shift the shoulders over the wrists here. So think about your back, right? You can sag through or you can push away. Find that middle, nice neutral spine. And like we talked about with our hands earlier, think four corners of the hands. So we don't want to dump into the wrist whether you have carpet or not. Head in line with the spine, the belly's working. And you can absolutely 100% stay on your knees if that's good. But maybe let's lift the knees off the floor and come to full plank. Watch the pelvis, it's heavy and it wants to droop. Right? Or conversely, maybe your butt's sticking up in the air, right? Find the middle. Hold, press through your heels. Make sure your belly is working at least as hard as your arms. And then gently lift your hips. And make your way toward down dog. Wiggling and stretching. Remember, you can always drop the knees. And then let's go ahead and kind of settle into that. So pressing the heels toward the floor. They do not have to touch. That is not the rule. Right? That does not make down dog. Pressing the chest back, check in that your head hangs between your arms, your hands still feel even, yes? And then we're going to shift into plank and back to down dog. If you need the knees on the mat, take the knee. Work with your breath here. And ideally, maybe we inhale as we come forward and we exhale back to our down dog. Let's do that one more time, forward and back. And then go ahead and drop on down to those knees and take a little break in child's pose because you know we're not done, right? So let's go ahead and lift back to our down dog. Again, taking knees if you need to be on the knees, we're going to shift into plank. hold this one. Thinking about your shoulders, thinking about your belly. Pressing through the heels. And if you haven't already, go ahead and drop down to the knees. We're going to bend the elbows just enough to bring it in line with the ribs and then stop. Squeeze into the rib cage here. Push back up and sit back to your child's pose. So we're going to do that again. Shift forward. Bend the elbows halfway. Squeeze the elbows to the ribs. Tight, 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 tight. Breathe and push back up. And into child's pose. One more time. Forward. Dip into those elbows. This time come to the floor and everything touches together. Kind of. Mostly. So the toenails stay on the floor. We're going to hug the elbows to the ribs. They're not really going to touch so much, but the forearms will. Turning the tailbone toward the heels, roll the shoulders up by your ears, together on your back, and down toward your hip bones. And then release it. So we're just going to flow with breath here. Inhale as you roll up. Exhale as you release back down. And for right now, use just your shoulders and your back and your belly. Leave the arms out of it for just a moment. We'll get there. One more time like that. And then just release. We're going to do that same thing, but this time we're going to hold it. So go ahead and roll into your shoulders, curling up. Keep that. Keep the tailbone pulling toward or drawing toward the floor. Pull with your hands like you're pulling your belly button forward. Keep that and start to press into your hands, even into the four corners. Maybe the arms are bent. Maybe they're more straight. Try not to lock your elbows either way. And then gently release. So we're going back up here. Keep the elbows into the sides as you press up just enough to bring in line with the ribs. All the way up and then back to your child's pose. So remembering those modifications and the variations as we move into sun salutes in a little minute. Keeping the idea of the basics in, even as you add in that more flow idea. So let's come back to our down dog. And from down dog here, we're going to lift the right leg. Stretch through both heels. Opening the right hip, take your toes really high. And then bend the knee. Try to keep your shoulders level. Press through the left heel. And then release that side. Same idea on your second side here, lifting the left. Open the hip and bend the knee. Releasing that side. And from down dog, walk the feet forward into a standing fold. So once you get to your standing fold here, turn. Feet hip bone distance apart, toes point forward. Go ahead and just kind of walk in place a little bit. Warming up the hamstrings. And then coming to a center, bend both knees if you need. Take your index and middle fingers and wrap them around your big toes. Even in the four corners, maybe the legs are straight, maybe the elbows bend. You can pull on your toes if you need a little extra for your stretch. And then go ahead and release the toes. The knees can stay bent if you want. Fingers are going to interlace behind the lower back, pulling the shoulder blades together and stretching the knuckles away. Keep the shoulders away from the ears. And try not to hyperextend at the knees or the elbows. And then release the arms. Take the legs straight and take your hands to your thighs. Lifting the upper body parallel to the floor, roughly. Keeping the shoulders back, the belly in. Go ahead and bend into the knees and sit into a chair. So hang on if you need to hang on, of course. Otherwise, the hands can come center or extend. Even on your feet. If you feel like your bum is sticking out, tuck your tailbone. Try and relax your shoulders and take one more breath here. Inhaling as we lift up. And then exhaling the arms. All right, so here we go into our sun salute flow. Good morning, y'all. Remember, modify, slow it down, take an extra breath, whatever you need. So here at the top, inhale, reach your arms up. Exhaling into your fold. Halfway up on an inhale. Exhaling, step out to your plank. Take the knees if you'd like to take the knees, of course, down to the belly, elbows tight. Roll into your shoulders, and then back to your down dog. Inhale as you step forward into the fold. Come halfway up with that next inhale. Back over. All the way up. And release. So as simple as that, we'll do that again. Inhale and lift. And fold. Inhale halfway up. Back to plank. All the way down to the belly on that same exhalation if you can. Into cobra. Back to down dog. Inhaling, you step forward into fold. Halfway up. Fold it back over again. And reach for the ceiling. Releasing. We've got one more like that, only I close my mouth and you do your thing. If you get lost, don't worry about it. Take a peek. If you need an extra breath or don't finish at the same time as I do, so what? This is yours. All right, I got one cue. Inhale, lift the arms. And you're on your own. All right. So we're going to one more sun salute. We're going to mix it up this time. So just, again, follow your breath, listen to your body. We're going to inhale and sit into chair this time. And exhaling into the fold. Inhaling halfway up. Exhale it back to plank. All the way down. Into cobra. Back to down dog. Inhale the right foot forward into a lunge. Take your time getting your toes to your fingers. Back knee or heel to the mat. We're gonna lift the upper body. Take it back down again, into down dog. Forward into plank. Down to the belly. Cobra. Down dog. Left foot forward this time. Heel or knee and reach. Back down again. Down dog. Forward into plank, last one. Down to the belly. Cobra. And then back to your down dog. So hold that down dog or drop one down to child's pose. Look for smooth breaths. And just like when we started, we were sitting, right? Take another nice big breath. If you're down, drop or move back to down dog. And then from down dog, inhale and step forward and fold. Halfway up, inhaling. Exhale back over. Sit into chair. And exhale to the top. So sun salutes are really great because you can mix in anything you want with them. I mean, that's pretty much what my morning practice is. I can just wind some things into sun salutes and kind of cover it. So let's go ahead and take a nice big step back with the left foot. Right toes point forward, left toes are cut in a little bit. Right heel in line with the left instep. Go ahead and bend into the right knee. Check for your big toe, stacking the knee over the ankle. Into the four corners. Extend the arms. From our warrior two here, take the right leg straight. Reach forward of your toes, and then take your right hand to the thigh or the shin or a block. The floor, if you can reach the floor, but don't stick your butt out just to reach the floor. So keeping the ankles, the hips, and the shoulders, and the head in the same plane. From triangle, bend back into the knee and rest your right arm on the thigh. Bring the left arm alongside your ear. Sinking into the hips, keeping the body open to the side. So just like before, yeah, maybe you can touch the floor if your butt sticks out. But we don't want your butt sticking out. We're going to release that over, coming into a straddle, and then take the right leg straight. Ish. So if you need to prop up, prop up. If you need to drop the left knee, drop the left knee. Shoulders back. Lead with your chest. And then bend back into the knee. Take the hands and walk them around into the center of the strap. So toes point forward, maybe slightly in. Slightly. And the feet are as wide as you need them to be. So if you need to make them wider or bring them closer together, listen to what your body needs here. We're gonna hang. If you can touch the floor, touch the floor. If you want to grab opposite elbow, let your head hang. And then we're gonna turn our right toes in a little bit if they're not already. Turn the left toes toward the back of the mat. The left knee is bent, lifting the upper body. We should be ready for our warrior two over here. If you need to make some adjustments, check out where your feet are, make sure that's where they need to be, and then extend the arms. Nice and even into the feet. Smooth, steady breaths. And then take that left leg straight. Reach forward of your toes and hinge over. Lean if you need to lean on the leg. Try not to lean on the knee, of course, but and again, just let this left hand be where it is. We're not reaching for anything. It falls where it falls, yeah? Bending back into the knee, rest the forearm on the thigh, bring the right arm alongside the ear. Let's bring the hands to the mat. Come into this lunge, and then take the left leg straight. So again, modifying here to make it accessible for you. And then we'll bend back into that knee. Walk the hands back into our straddle. So this time here in the straddle, bend the knees if you need. We're gonna take the index and middle fingers and wrap them around the big toes, just like we did with the feet together. Stay even on the four corners of the feet. Maybe the legs are straight, maybe not. Elbows out to the sides either way. And you can pull against the toes just like we did earlier for a little bit more sensation if that's what you need. And then we release those toes. Take the fingers to the lower back and releasing here. Shoulders pull toward each other, knuckles stretch away. Again, just like before. Releasing the hands. Let's walk them back to the right foot, lunging to the top. Stepping forward and fold. Little bend into the knees here this time. And on and in, I'll roll your spine all the way up. Coming back to stand. All right. So we're going to take our standing balance. And there's lots of options here. So see where you go, right? So like we talked about at the very beginning of class, we talked about having like that squishy surface with a carpet. So if you want to step off your mat, that's totally fine, less squishy. It makes it a little bit easier. If you need to stand near the wall, just in case, feel free to do that. We're going to take all the weight over into the right foot and lift the left knee. From here, open the knee. Watch that the hips don't shift. Right? Keeping the hips square. So this left foot can either come to the inside of the right leg, anywhere but your knee joint, or you can flex that foot and bring the heel just above into the outside of the right leg. Yeah. So the idea is the same regardless of where the foot is. See? Yeah. So if you are in traditional tree with foot on the inside, you want to stand tall and grow your branches. Yeah. If you've got this figure four idea going on, you can bend into the right knee and come into more of that one-legged chair idea. So listen to your body. If you want to give it a go and it doesn't work out, you step back to tree. We're going to take one more nice big breath. And with the next inhale, make your way back to center. So sometimes it's all that simple, okay? And sometimes not. So again, just kind of go with it, see what happens, modify what you need to modify. We're going to take all the way over into the left, lift the right, open the knee, again, keeping the hips square. So maybe the foot comes to the inside of the leg. maybe above and just the outside of the knee. See what happens over here. And then if you're extending the arms, go ahead and extend. If you're bending into the left knee, you can bend into the left knee. We're going to take one more big breath. And then make your way back to center again. We're done with that. So down to the top of your mat, if you did step away, we're going to reach up, inhale, and take yourself over into a fold. Stepping back to down dog. Let's take just a little transition child's pose here. So drop on down, arms forward, hands back, maybe support the head. Prop the head, maybe is a better way to say that. And then coming back to your down dog again. Here we're going to bring the right knee up behind the right wrist. Slide it all the way up there. And then extend your left leg as long behind you as you can. Release that knee to the floor. And the right knee can stay where it is if that's where it needs to be. But see if you can open it out to the right a little bit. And maybe bring your left toes towards your your right toes towards your left hand. So just see where that brings you. And yes, you can bring it all the way up there if you stand off to the side. But that's not what this is. Right? We want to keep everything else as we had it and see where that goes. Right? So listen to your body. If it's too much, you back out a little bit. Shoulders down and back. You can stay upright on the hands, or you can drop down your forearms. Or maybe take it all the way down, bringing your forehead to the floor. Try and keep your upper body in a neutral position though. We don't want to just bring it all down and be all round and hunched over here. Right? Keep the spine long. Feeling even. And then notice if you're squeezing. Sometimes we get into these tight spots and we think, uh-oh. And the body actually tries to protect itself by squeezing together, right? If you're feeling that, knock it back a notch and try to let go. Right? Our ego wants to go somewhere and the body says, nope. So if you knock it back a little bit, the body can go, all right, yeah, that's not so terrible sometimes. So we're going to take just a couple more breaths here in our pigeon. And then we're going to make our way back to down dog. So undo what you did here. Take your time. Wiggle around a little bit. And then we're going to switch. So bring the left knee forward. Stretch the right leg long. Adjusting the left knee out to the side, the toes forward toward the right hand. And it might be completely different over here. Right? So find where it is on this side. Don't just assume. Right? Listening to whether your body is telling you, yeah, that's okay, or no, stop doing that. Finding your stretch. Breathing into it. Let's take just a couple more breaths here over on this side. And then from there, slowly making our way back to down dog. Once again here, go ahead and drop on down to the knees, child's pose. And then sitting up on the heels and bringing the legs around front back to our seated position. All right. So legs extend out nice and long, just like we started. Make sure you feel upright on your pelvis. Belly's in, shoulders down and back. Let's go ahead and reach the arms. I'm going to fold forward here. So let your hands fall where they fall. If you don't touch your toes, it's not the end of the universe. But if you're constantly bending and rounding just to touch your toes, it's not worth it. All right. So taking a couple more big breaths. With an inhale, we're lifting up and releasing. So here, let's go ahead and take the left shin parallel to the top edge of your mat. You don't have to be at the top edge, but that's the idea. So flexing that left foot. Right, so you've got this nice right angle-ish. Keep that idea. Bend or flex your right foot. That outer ankle bone, see if you can put that on top of your left knee. Not hanging over, not over by your calf, right? At the knee. If that is not happening for you, bring it in front. As much as possible. And this right knee might be sticking up in your face. Okay? So listen to where you are. Don't worry about what it ends up looking like. We want to feel for sensation. Right? So how it ends up looking is going to be different for everyone. Protecting the knees and the ankles by keeping those feet flexed. Yeah. So try to relax into the hip, and the idea is to let this right knee fall. That might not be today. Don't worry about it. If this is okay, you can go more. Take the hands to the soles of the feet. You're going to press the hands into the feet and the feet back into the hands. And maybe then that right knee relaxes a little bit. The right hip, but you get the hip. And then if you just can't help yourself, go ahead and hinge forward. Listen to your body. With an inhale, make your way back up again, and then release it. Extend the legs, shake them out a little bit, wiggle around. And then we're going to do the second side. Now that's very exciting. So that right shin parallel to the top edge of the mat, foot flexed. Left foot's flexed, the ankle bone to the top of the right knee. It's technically the inside, isn't it? But you get the idea. Or in front of, trying to let the left knee relax. Feet stay flexed. Sitting up nice and tall. And again, staying here if that's where you're at. Hands on the feet, getting that little extra push into the feet and back into the hands, adding the hinge forward. All of those things are extra. You're looking for sensation, and when you find enough, you're done. You don't have to add every single thing, because truthfully, there's about 25 more things you could do here. So, until that day, we're going to take another nice big breath. Inhaling as you lift back up. And release it. Nice and easy there. Go ahead and stretch your legs out. Wiggle them around a little bit. And then taking the feet to the floor. Make sure you're place it on your mat where you can roll back. We're gonna go down in just a little second. So roughly a 90-degree bend in the knee. We're hanging onto the backs of the thighs. Lift the chest, so you're upright on those sit bones, right? And then maybe lean back just enough to lift your toes away from the floor. So you can use all arms here, but try to use your belly. The toes can stay low, they can come to the middle, or they can lift to the ceiling. Or you can let your arms go. So you find where's enough. Let's bring the soles of the feet together here. Hang on to those ankles. And then go ahead and C-curve your spine and roll back. Leaving the soles of the feet together, let them come to the floor and just relax the legs. Bringing the knees back together. So let's take the feet hip bone distance apart. So if they're touching, you're too close. If they're out to the sides of your mat, you're too wide, yeah? Find something in the middle. Toes point forward as much as you can figure that. You can't see your feet, obviously. Bring the arms down nice and tight to the sides of the body. And you can bend your elbows so your fingers point toward the ceiling or have your arms on the floor. Either one works. Keep your head and neck neutral. Right? So the back of the neck should not be touching the floor. And you don't want to be leaning on your hip. Right? Press the shoulders down, press the triceps down, pull your heels toward your hips, lift your hips away from the floor. So you can stay simple, just like you are. You can take and interlace your fingers behind your back, tucking your shoulders underneath, and then you get a little lift of the chest. But again, weight here is on the backs of the arms and your shoulders, not your head. And lean on the back of your head like that. Keep the tailbone tucking toward the knees so your lower back is happy, your belly is working, you're breathing. And remember, this can be a restorative pose if you're, not exactly restorative, but more gentle if you sit your pelvis on a block or two. We're going to take one more breath. And then gently release it all, bringing the hips back to the floor. Leave your feet on the floor. Hold here for just a minute. And then nice and easy, pull the knees into the chest and give yourself a little rock. So let's go ahead and take the feet back to the floor. And we're going to lift the right leg straight up toward the ceiling. So yes, ideally the leg is straight and above the hip. That might not be your reality, so if it is a little bit bent, just hanging on, using a strap, whatever you need, right? Keep your backside as it is on the floor, and as you exhale, pull that right leg a little closer to the body, and then inhale and let it go a little bit. Right? So just a gentle little extra stretch, and then a little release. Right? With the breath. One more time, pulling it in, and then finding a neutral spot. Take the left arm out and glue that arm and shoulders to the floor. Glue your left hip to the floor. Support the outside of your leg with your right hand and let it fall to the right. So again here, the back side stays like it was with the leg on the floor. Maybe, kind of. Right? We'll take another nice big breath. Bring the leg back to center. This time you're going to take it all the way over to the left. And yes, your right hip is going to have to come up off the floor. And maybe the toes come to the floor, maybe they don't quite. Extend your right arm back out to the right. And you can make adjustments here. Maybe the right leg doesn't stay straight. Wherever you're experiencing a little bit of a twist is the goal. One more nice big breath. And again, bending this right knee if you feel like you need to. We're coming back to the middle. We're going to release the right foot. And if you feel a little crooked, jeez, then just straighten out here and take the left leg up. So the same idea, keeping the backside as it was with the left foot on the floor. Kind of. Maybe the left knee is a little bent, maybe the leg is straight. We're going to pull toward the body and then let go. Just that gentle little in and out. Take a couple more like that. Finding your center again here. Extend the right arm to the right, support the leg with the left hand, and let it fall left. Keep the right shoulder and hip as heavy as it was before. One more big breath. And then making your way back up to the top. Take that leg across the body. So it's moving toward the right hand. Maybe it touches it, maybe it doesn't. Extend your left arm out to the left. And again here, modify if you need to modify. Breathe. You got one more breath over here. Bending that left knee if you need. Make your way back up to the middle. And then release the left foot to the floor. Get less crooked again. And then bring the knees in one more time to the chest and rock. Squeeze the knees in as tight as you can. Pull your forehead towards your knees. And then release that. Take a full body stretch. Releasing your stretch. Bring your arms up by your sides. And find where you want Shavasana to be. So maybe you just want to be completely flat on the floor, and this is good. Maybe you need your feet flat. Take the legs up the wall. A seated meditation if that's better. Find where it's going to be. And if you are seated, find your alignment using props, the wall maybe. And if you're reclined, let the muscles release into the mat.
Either way, bring the focus to the breath, solely to the breath. And release control of it. And as it comes back to more of that natural breath, just kind of notice, is it different than when you started? Or is it pretty close to when you were using those big breaths? And it's not to judge, it's just to be aware. Allowing your body and mind just a few minutes longer to release and relax. Slowly draw each breath a little deeper than the last. Taking another great big breath. And then letting that go. Allowing your body to wiggle, move, and stretch. When you're ready, taking the feet flat and slowly making your way up to seated. Keeping the eyes closed and your mind quiet. Let's bring the palms to touch. Bowing your head to your heart. Namaste. Yay, yoga. So thanks for practicing with me. I'm happy to be back. I'm going to work on it not being so echoey in here. I'm not sure how that's going to look, but we'll see. So if you have comments or suggestions or concerns, just give me a shout, and otherwise I will see you next week, I hope. Yes. Enjoy your weekend. Hopefully it's nice where you are as well. And we'll see you.